Hello, everyone. As he said, I'm Poonam, and this is the first time I'm in a formal chat about peace between the nations. And Aisha, ma'am, and everybody else who's out there, I know you've been into academics, have been speaking about it for a long time. But as a girl from Sikh community and as a person reads Ardas every day, we've always been told, and I really, really fairly remember my father saying, when before he expired, I think I was just 4 or 5 years old, that even if I'm born, you got to take your mother to Nankana Sahib. Now, that's a very, very emotional statement which my dad made, and it stuck on to me from then until now. And it took me 28 years since then for me to take my mom there. I did not know how, I did not know why. But since childhood, there are two subjects that I actually really, really worked on. I always thought that I had my ancestors on the other side, but when will I be able to see them? Always thought that I want to go and pray there, but when will I be able to do that? Is it fear which was stopping us? Is it the political benefit on the either side which was stopping us? And with this quest, I crossed the border and started really talking about peace and interfaith. And that's when I was questioned. I was also told by the Gurdwara, Bangla Sahib, and people there that don't try speaking something where you will be subjected to something which is very unfortunate. I said, when I'm advising peace and when it's the land of Guru Nanak, I think something positive will really, really happen. I did go there, I was questioned. And that very, very moment when I was actually recording the Gurdwaras, Punjab Sahib and Kana Sahib, there were a lot of people who just surrounded me and said, why are you doing this? And that's exactly when I felt the divide. I was not allowed to video record my own Gurdwara. I said I was okay to talk to the seniors there and say that not many people in my family will be able to do what I am doing. And it is a promise made to my father. But luckily, on the same day, when I prayed, the next day it's a lot of coincidence and a lot of blessing if you people believe in the supreme power. That Kartarpur corridor was announced, and I was allowed to make amazing videos on the Gurdwaras, and I was allowed to go to the temple there. Now that we're coming to the subject of it, and I was lucky to be called as a peace ambassador there and advocating peace. So something where there's a will, they say there's a way. I think people like us should come together to advocate peace because that is the only way forward. Now, Sikhism and colonization. According to Stanford University, the definition of colonialism is a practice of domination which involves the subjugation of one people to another. Therefore, from the very definition, it is clear that colonialism is not altruistic in nature at all. Rather, it's based on the philosophy of exploitation completely. Colonialism in Punjab. The region of Punjab is perhaps one of the most exploited in colonial India. Although there were some incidental benefits in terms of canal work and railway infrastructure, however, there were unintended consequences of the colonial project consolidating their power in the region and exploiting as much economic resources as possible. It's particularly important to note Punjab has paid rather a much heavy price in terms of human life and sufferings. Whether it was world wars or partition, the human cost was immense. Even after partition, India, part of Punjab, continued to suffer due to proxy war that some way or the other connects it into the colonial past and facing it. Sikhs are one of the worst sufferers of colonial legacy. The division of Punjab also divided their most sacred sites, as I said, Nankana Sahib. Adding to partition led to migrate from their ancestral places. History, plunders and blunders. Division of land, also the source. The Indian Councils Act 1909, commonly known as Minto Warley reforms, was an act of parliament of the United Kingdom. Apart from doing other things, it precipitated the divide and the rule policy that the colonial government started after the 1857 rebellion. It introduced a system of communal representation for Muslims by accepting the concept of separate electorate, which was really bad. Under this, the Muslim members were to be elected only by Muslim voters. Thus, the act legalized communalism. However, it was just the start of the philosophy that colonial government was following. It wanted to rule India by any means. Government of India Act 1919 further enlarged the scope of separate electorate and included Sikhs and Anglo-Indians and other in its fold. Therefore, further communalizing the nation. The objectives of Britishers were very clear. The whole nation was going to pay the price, such as vicious British policies. Punjabization of the army and partition of India, 1947. The land revenue system, people of Punjab. The Mahalwari system was introduced in 1833 during the period of William Bentinck. The British land tax system as a whole has had a disastrous effect. Initially, land was used to generate income. Land is considered private property, which is unprecedented. Due to high taxes, farmers have to produce cash crops instead of food crops. This caused famine and food shortages. The farmer owes the money-lender's debt because the tax must be paid in cash and later becomes the landowner. The peasants became bonded laborers. When India gained independence, only 7% of villagers, called zamindars, controlled 75% of their land. World wars. A portion of the service records more than 3.2 lakh troops from undivided Punjab, who fought the British Army in the First World War, have been digitized by UK historians. Punjab sent more than 5 lakh soldiers to the World War I, comprising a third of all Indian troops and more than other Commonwealth territories such as Australia. All of us know with Jallianwala Bagh and civil unrest during 1947-48, loss of lives, livelihood, families, and much more. Division of Sikh heritage. We still don't know how many of us will be able to go and pray there due to the proxy wars for the political benefits. When it comes to environment, yes, canal colonies. Punjab is a land of Indus Valley civilization, one of the oldest or the oldest urban civilization. However, particular type of philosophy, subjugation of nature to the will of the man, transformed the whole region irreversibly. For creating canal colonies, a large swatch of forests were cut and that have changed the topography of the whole region. Now railways, entire forests, thousands of trees were cleared to provide timber to underlay the new railway tracks that would carry the freshly harvested wheat and cotton to the port to feed the British machine. It was brutal transformation of the landscape of the region, cropping pattern. Because of the change in land revenue system and other reasons, the whole cropping was transformed, damaged the ecosystem of Punjab. Where are we now? It is left in a constant fight with our own identities. Are we Punjabi first, or from the religion or the region? It left us paralyzed and fragmented. Once the well-integrated region is now the least connected region of the world. It has socio-economic, political, environmental consequences. You have to go to the next slides. Next slide. I'm done with it. Yes, the conclusion part. We definitely know this. Yeah. Citizen-centric policies, which is very, very important. I may cite an example of when I went to take the visa for Pakistan, the second time when I was actually invited officially. I went into the office and there they placed, and everyone really knows that I was coming for a visa so that I and my mother can visit the Holy Shrine. It was not needed for somebody from the embassy to place a book of Kashmir in front of me. They just placed it in front of me and asked, what do you think about this? I said, all that I seek for is peace. All that I seek for is forgiving. All that I seek for is moving forward. All that I seek for is now for us and the brother who's in front of me. Then they allowed me to move forward. We need to have citizen-centric policies. Focus on geoeconomics. It's very unfortunate that a large portion of our money is going for the proxy wars. And maybe the issues are not resolved because of the economics part of it. But we have to find a way out. Humanity. In Hindi, I should say, हुकूमत की जगह शायद इंसानियत नहीं होती, लेकिन इंसानियत हुकूमत थोड़ी करने लगे तो शायद इंसानियत बच जाए. Accepting the new realities. We need to accept what's happening. We need to understand that there cannot be a full-on war between India and Pakistan. What is the way out? Will I see my brothers on either sides of the border dying every day? I practice dying Rakhi to each one of them. I have my friends across the border. And the only thing I say from the Ardas prayers so that we all can have a border of peace. Thank you.